Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at each personal month forecast for the month of July 2023. Now, keep in mind, the personal month calculation is different from the life path calculation. So make sure you check that before you listen to your forecast, just to make sure you're listening to the right one. You can find that calculation in the description box below. Now, of course, this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading based on your own personal numerology, please book some time with me. You can find my information in the description box below. Okay, so keep in mind that July 2023 is a universal 5 energy. So collectively, we are going to feel the influences of this vibration. The 5 brings about change, transformation, shifts. It also brings the need for freedom or, again, some kind of change if there's somewhere that we have become stagnant or if we're kind of off course and need to be redirected. This energy will come in and shake things up for us. Also, this is an energy that requires moderation. It's easy to fall into extremes when it comes to 5 energy. So we will be asked this month to make sure that we keep coming back to center. The energy of the 5 also is going to ask us to, amidst the chaos or amidst the change, to find our joy. What makes us happy? What lights us up? Are we surrounding ourselves with people who bring us joy or that create joy within our lives? Are we doing things, whether it's for work or for hobbies, that brings us joy, right? And so that will be put under the microscope this month as well. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at each personal month forecast for the month of July. Personal month 7. So if July is a personal month 7 for you, this can be a cycle where you're really called to go inwards. This is a great cycle for self-reflection, for self-evaluation, and for self-discovery. So a lot of times in a 7 cycle, what we find is that we're often confronted with things that challenge the ego. So things that sort of we thought to be true about ourselves, about another person, about our environment. And this 7 energy sort of brings something to our awareness, right? Where it almost confronts the ego and we have to dig deeper and we have to look more deeply at the situation. And that clarity or that awareness that sort of stems from that investigation often leads to greater awareness or a greater perspective, right? So this can feel sometimes like as a more uncomfortable cycle because of that, right? Because something's coming up against the ego to challenge it, to say, well, you think this is true, but here's some information or here's something out of the ordinary that's going to challenge that. Now, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to stick to your beliefs and stay within that sort of the confines of your comfort zone? Or are you going to explore a little bit further and see how you can expand the mind, right? And learn something new or see something from a different perspective. And then, gaining a different experience from that evaluation, right? So it's often a very deep sort of cycle. It's one that, again, sort of forces us inwards to sort of evaluate the mental chatter, our deeper psyche, the psyche of others. This is a great cycle for, again, digging deeper, getting to the truth of something. During this cycle, it's not going to be a time when you want to just take things at face value. You need to go beyond the illusion, beyond the surface level, go a bit deeper because there's probably more to the story than what you're being told or what you're seeing. So in that vein, I would say if you're signing any contracts this month, just maybe have a second set of eyes on it. Just make sure that everything looks good, that you're protected, because this can be a time where things can appear to be one way, but the fine print says something very different. So just make sure that you're paying attention to those sort of things. If you are signing any kind of contract or going through any kind of legal proceedings, you just want to make sure that you're covered. The other thing is during this cycle, things around health could come up, like holistic health as well. So new discoveries, new possible solutions to ailments could come in, treatments, that sort of thing. That's very possible under a 7 cycle. Also, greater awareness or greater understanding or bigger answers to those bigger questions. So pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to, what someone says to you or that really resonates or is a trigger point even, because this is a cycle when the veil is thin. And so there can be a lot coming through that is not easily explained, right? A lot of times we want to go straight to logic. And if we can't logically explain it, then it's not real, or it's not true, or whatever. The 7 energy sort of challenges us with that and says there's a lot going on, that's bigger than us that we can't fully comprehend with our ego, with our mind. And so during a 7 cycle, sometimes those sort of bigger insights can come in. So just pay attention to that, because through those deeper insights, that can create some kind of inspiration or idea to progress you forward, right? And so then your experience changes because of it. So this is potentially a very deeper type of cycle, one that's more, calls for a little bit more solitude, time for self-reflection and self-evaluation. And this has the potential for you to learn quite a bit about yourself that maybe you weren't aware of, right? Or again, to sort of come up against those challenges to the ego that ask you to be a little bit more open-minded, to entertain things beyond your current belief system. So very deep kind of energy. And because we have the collective energy of the 5, that brings the change, right? That brings the shifts, that brings the awareness as well. So again, this could potentially for some people be a very life-altering cycle. Now, it's a quick cycle because it's just a month long, but a lot can happen in 30 days or 31 days, right? So just pay attention to where it is that you're feeling a little uncomfortable, because that's probably where your ego is being challenged a little bit. And so instead of immediately going to, discredit it or whatever, just see what it has to show you and see if it changes anything for you. Also, with this energy, there's a lot coming in around trust. So trusting self, trusting others, trusting the unseen or the universe. So if there's anything that you're working on or anything that you need to make a decision about, or any kind of situation that requires you to trust others or trust the unseen, like surrender and trust, you could see that happen this month, where you need to release control a little bit, and you might not have all the answers right up front, but the more that you can kind of surrender that need for control, you may see a lot come in that sort of awakens you to a bigger potential, right? In whatever area it comes in for you. The other thing I would say about this, because you have that combination of the 5, again, collective energy, but then also the 7 for your personal month, is try to be really careful about extremes, right? So with the 5 energy, it wants you to moderate, wants you to find your center. With 7 energy, it's a very strong sort of polarity of the logic, practical, known, and the unseen, mystical, cosmic energies, right? And then we become the bridge between those two. But it's very easy to fall into one or the other. So just, make sure that you're staying as that bridge and you're entertaining both sides of the 7, which is that very, again, ethereal, very mystical, unseen, and the very physical. So great month for spiritual awakenings to new opportunities when it has to do with holistic health. Just a lot going on here for you all this month. Okay, July 3rd, we have a full moon, and this full moon is bringing about the energy of the 6. So this is really bringing in the focus around relationships and those more intimate relationships. So friends, very close friends, family, partners, pets. So there could be some things here around health with family, because again, that 7 energy, contracts, legal proceedings, divorce, something like that, marriage, adoption could all fall under this around this full moon, of course, depending on your circumstances. So yeah, think of like contracts, legal proceedings, that sort of thing, that have to do with close-knit ties. This could also be, though, about like buying or selling a house, something like that. Again, legal contracts, so make sure you're reading the fine print just to make sure everything looks good. You're digging below the surface there, just making sure you're taken care of. With the 6 energy, this is a actually really strong period where you could meet a soulmate. We've got the energy of the 7 and the 6, so very much a soul connection could come in for you this month. Doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a friend. It can be a pet. It can be just however, just a very strong soul tie. So you might meet somebody, or again, adopt a pet or something like that, where you just feel a very strong bond with this person or this pet. That's very, very possible. And they could potentially be in your life for quite some time, or they could be bringing you, I don't want to say like tests and lessons, but they could be bringing you experiences that help you to learn more about yourself, right? Because the 7 is always kind of bring it back to self, and that exploration of self. So that's very possible. Then on July 17th, we have a new moon. And this new moon is bringing in the energy for you all of the 2. So you have a lot going on this month around relationships, because 2 energy is also relationships. It's more the broader spectrum of relationships and how we relate to others. So seeing others' perspectives, listening to other people's ideas, collaboration, meeting in the middle, harmony, balance, that sort of thing in how we relate to others. So it can be colleagues or, just acquaintances or people you meet on the street, the full gamut. So that's coming in around the new moon. So you may also, this could be a great time to make new acquaintances, meet new friends or colleagues, or any kind of new relationship is also possible. And again, because it's that 7 energy, this is probably something deeper than just a passerby, right? This is probably going to be potentially someone who you do have some kind of a soul contract with, maybe not to the intensity of the energy of the 6 that was around that full moon, but this could also be something around the new moon where you're bringing balance and harmony back to a relationship that maybe went sour, or there was miscommunication, or whatever the case may be. But that focus is going to be around new beginnings, new starts as it relates to relationships, right? Coming together, finding harmony and balance. This is also a great time where you could find greater balance within self, holistically, right? Body, mind, spirit. So pay attention to what comes in for you around this new moon that's trying to get you back into alignment with self, okay? Because that could very much be the focus around this new moon. So I hope it is a beautiful month for you all. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.